Let me tell you something that happened to a real person. A woman named Maureen Burns, living in England, noticed something strange about her dog. His name was Max. Max was a 12-year-old dog, calm, gentle, never caused trouble. But one day, Max started doing something he had never done before. He kept pushing his nose into Maureen's chest, again and again. She would move. He would follow. She would sit down. He would press his nose into the exact same spot, every single day. Maureen was not worried about herself. She felt perfectly fine. No pain, no symptoms, nothing. She was worried about Max. She thought something was wrong with him. But Max kept doing it, day after day, week after week, until Maureen finally decided to see a doctor, not because she felt sick, but just to stop worrying. The doctor found a cancerous lump in her breast. Early stage, completely treatable. She survived, and the only reason she caught it in time was because her dog would not stop trying to tell her. Now, you might think this is one lucky coincidence, but here is what science discovered when they actually studied this. It is not a coincidence. It is biology. And once you understand what is actually happening inside your dog's nose when he sniffs you, you will never ignore your dog again. Stay with me, because this is one of the most extraordinary things science has uncovered about the animal sleeping at your feet right now. So, let's start with the basics. Because before you can understand how your dog detects cancer, you need to understand what your dog's nose actually is. And I promise you, once you hear this, you will never think of your dog the same way again. Your nose has approximately 6 million scent receptors. 6 million sounds like a lot, until you find out that your dog has 300 million. 300 million. That is 50 times more than yours. But here is the thing. It is not just about the number of receptors, the part of your dog's brain that is dedicated entirely to processing smells is 40 times larger than yours. 40 times. Proportionally speaking, smell is to your dog what vision is to you. You navigate the world through your eyes. Your dog navigates the world through his nose. When you walk into a room, you see furniture, walls, people. When your dog walks into the same room, he smells who was there 3 hours ago, what they ate for lunch, whether they were stressed or relaxed, whether they were healthy or sick. He is reading a story that you cannot even see. Now, scientists describe it this way. Imagine you are standing next to a pot of soup on the stove. You smell soup. Your dog smells water, salt, pepper, chicken, onion, garlic, the oil used to cook it, the specific brand of salt, the age of the pepper, every single ingredient, separately. That is the difference. And now apply that same ability, not to soup, but to your body. Your body is a chemistry lab that never stops working. Every second of every day, your body is producing thousands of chemical compounds, hormones, enzymes, proteins, waste products from your cells. And these compounds, they have a smell. Not a smell you can detect, but a smell your dog reads like a book. He knows what you smell like when you are happy. He knows what you smell like when you are stressed. He knows what you smell like when you are sick. And here is where cancer enters the picture, because cancer is a chemical event. When cancer cells begin growing inside your body, they do not just sit there silently. They change your body's chemistry. They produce their own waste products, tiny chemical compounds, invisible to every human sense, that leak into your blood, your breath, your sweat. And your dog's 300 million scent receptors pick them up. Not eventually, immediately. From the moment those chemical changes begin, your dog can potentially detect them. Before you feel anything, before a scan shows anything, before your doctor suspects anything, your dog already knows. And the most extraordinary part? He has been trying to tell you. Every time he sniffs that one spot on your arm a little too long, every time he follows you around more than usual, every time he presses his nose into your body, and just stays there. That is not random behavior. That is communication. But science did not stop at theory. They decided to actually test this. And what they found in those experiments completely changed the medical world's understanding of what dogs are capable of. That is coming up next. Scientists are careful people. They do not accept stories as proof. They do not accept coincidences as evidence. When researchers first started hearing these accounts, dogs sniffing out cancer in their owners, they did not say, "amazing." They said, "prove it." So they designed experiments, controlled, rigorous, repeatable. And what those experiments revealed forced even the most skeptical scientists to stop and pay attention. Here is how the first major experiment worked. Researchers gathered two groups of people. Group 1, completely healthy individuals, no disease, no illness, nothing abnormal in their bodies. Group 2, patients who had already been diagnosed with cancer, confirmed by doctors, confirmed by scans. From both groups, researchers collected samples. Breath samples, urine samples, skin swabs. These samples were placed in identical containers. No labels, no markings, nothing that could give any clues. The dogs had no idea which container came from which person. They could not see the patients. They could not hear them. They could not read any visual cues. All they had was smell. The dogs were then trained to indicate, in their own way, which containers held the cancer samples. Some dogs sat down in front of the positive sample. Some pawed at it. Some simply refused to move away from it. And the results? The dogs were correct over 90% of the time. Over 90%. But here is what made this result truly extraordinary. The researchers double-checked everything. They ran the experiment again with different dogs. Different samples, different patients. Same result, again and again. 90% accuracy or above every single time. Now, to put that number in perspective, some of the most advanced cancer screening tools available in hospitals today, the ones that cost thousands of dollars, operate at similar accuracy levels, and a dog was matching them with his nose for free. But the experiments did not stop there, because the next question was even more important. Could dogs detect cancer before it was even diagnosed? In other words, could a dog find cancer in a person who had no idea they were sick? Researchers took samples from people who had gone to their doctor and been told, "You are perfectly healthy. Nothing wrong. Come back next year." They mixed those samples in with confirmed cancer samples, and they let the dogs work. Several of the dogs flagged samples from patients who had been told they were healthy. The researchers were confused. Had the dogs made a mistake? They followed up with those patients months later, and in multiple cases, those patients had since been diagnosed with cancer. The cancer was there all along. The doctors had missed it. The dogs had not. Let that sink in for a moment. A dog with no medical training detected cancer that the doctor's equipment missed. Not because the dog is smarter than the doctor, but because the dog's nose can access chemical information that no medical equipment at that time could reach. The dog was not guessing. He was reading a chemical signal that human technology had not yet learned to measure. And this discovery, this single finding, opened up an entirely new field of medical research. A field that is changing how doctors think about early cancer detection forever. But before we get to that, there is something about these experiments that nobody talks about. Something the researchers noticed in the dog's behavior that went far beyond simple detection. And it raises a question that science is still trying to answer. Do dogs actually understand what they are finding? Or is it pure instinct? The answer is somewhere in between. And it is more remarkable than either option alone. Now, science is powerful, numbers are convincing, but sometimes a single human story does more than any statistic ever could. So let me tell you about a few real people just like you, who had no idea their dog was trying to save their life. The first story is about a woman named Diane Papazian. Diane lived a completely normal life. She had a dog, a mixed breed she had rescued years ago. Nothing special, just a regular family dog. One afternoon, her dog jumped onto the couch next to her and started sniffing her neck. She pushed him away. He came back. She pushed him away again. He came back again. This went on for days. Her dog was not acting aggressive. He was not barking. He was not anxious. He was just focused, intensely, quietly, persistently focused on one spot on her neck. Diane thought maybe she had spilled something. Maybe a scent from her perfume was bothering him. But the dog kept coming back, every day, same spot. After 2 weeks, something made her mention it to her doctor. The doctor examined the area and found a lump. It was thyroid cancer, caught early, completely treatable. Diane later said, If her dog had not kept coming back, she would never have gone to the doctor. She had no symptoms, no pain, no reason to worry. Her dog was her reason. Now, the second story is different. This one involves a man who almost dismissed what his dog was telling him. His name was Glenn Butcher. Glenn had a Labrador. One evening, after coming home from work, his dog started acting strangely. Instead of running to greet him like usual, the dog walked straight to Glenn's left side and pressed his head against Glenn's abdomen. Glenn laughed it off. The next evening, same thing. And the next. Every single day, the dog would go directly to the same spot on Glenn's left side. After almost 3 weeks, Glenn's wife insisted he see a doctor. He went, mostly to stop her worrying. The scan found a mass on his kidney, early-stage renal cancer. Glenn later said he felt completely fine. No pain, no fatigue, nothing that would have made him think something was wrong. He would have had no reason to go to the doctor for years. By then, it might have been too late. Now, I want you to notice something about both of these stories. Neither of these dogs were trained. They were not specially selected. They were not put through any kind of cancer detection program. They were just dogs, living in a home, bonded to their owner, and their biology. The same biology that has been developing for 15,000 years alongside humans kicked in, automatically, instinctively, because here is something researchers believe, and this is the part that truly moves me. Dogs may not understand what cancer is, but they understand that something is wrong with the person they love, and every instinct in their body tells them, do not leave, stay close, keep trying. That persistent sniffing, that refusal to move away, that quiet, gentle, unrelenting attention to one part of your body, that is not stubbornness. That is devotion. That is an animal using every tool evolution gave him to protect the human he has bonded his entire life to. And we almost always miss it. We push them away. We laugh it off. We think they want attention. But what if the next time your dog lingers just a little too long in one spot, you paid attention? What if that moment, that simple moment of actually listening to your dog, changed everything? It has for more people than you might think. And science is now working on making sure it happens for millions more. So where does all of this leave us? We have established that dogs can smell cancer. We have seen it proven in controlled experiments. We have heard it from real people whose lives were saved. But science never stops at "this is amazing." Science asks, how do we use this? And the answer to that question is where things get truly extraordinary, because researchers around the world are now working on something that was inspired entirely by your dog's nose. It is called an electronic nose, a device roughly the size of a briefcase that attempts to replicate what your dog does naturally. The idea is simple. If dogs are detecting specific chemical compounds in human breath, compounds that are produced by cancer cells, then maybe we can identify exactly which compounds those are. And if we can identify them, we can build a machine that detects them too. No needles, no radiation, no expensive hospital equipment. Just breathe into a device, and within minutes, know whether those cancer-linked compounds are present in your body. Early stage, before symptoms, before pain, before it spreads. Researchers have already made significant progress. They have identified specific VOC signatures, volatile organic compounds, that appear consistently in the breath of cancer patients. Different signatures for different cancers. Lung cancer has its own chemical fingerprint. Breast cancer has its own. Colorectal cancer has its own. And dogs, without any instruction, have been distinguishing between these signatures for years. They were doing the science before the scientists even knew what to study. Think about that. Your dog was ahead of modern medicine, not because he went to school, not because he read research papers, but because nature, over thousands and thousands of years, built something into him that we are only now beginning to understand. And this technology, this electronic nose, if it works at the scale researchers believe it can, has the potential to save millions of lives every single year. Millions. Because the reason so many cancers are fatal is not because they are untreatable. It is because they are caught too late. Stage 4 cancer has a very different survival rate than Stage 1. And the difference between Stage 1 and Stage 4 is often just time. Time that a dog, your dog might be able to give you. Now, I want to say something directly to you. If you have a dog, pay attention to him. Not just when he is hungry, not just when he wants to go outside. Pay attention to how he behaves around your body. If your dog repeatedly focuses on one specific area, comes back to it day after day, does not seem to want to leave it alone, take it seriously. It might be nothing. Dogs also react to skin irritations, infections, old injuries, but it also might be something. And the cost of checking is nothing compared to the cost of missing it. Your dog cannot speak your language. He cannot sit you down and say, "I think you need to see a doctor," but he is communicating with you every single day. Through his behavior, through his attention, through that quiet, persistent way, he stays close to you when something feels wrong. He has been doing this for 15,000 years, since the very first moment dogs and humans chose each other, and in all that time, he has never stopped trying to protect you. The question has always been, are we listening? I hope after today, you are, because the dog lying at your feet right now, he is not just a pet. He is not just a companion. He is a living, breathing, biological instrument, fine-tuned by thousands of years of evolution, pointed entirely at you, watching you, reading you, and in his own quiet way, always, always trying to keep you safe. Give him a little extra love today. He has more than earned it. And if this video made you see your dog differently, if it taught you something you did not know before, then do one simple thing. Hit that subscribe button, because every single week, we go this deep into the hidden science behind your dog's behavior, the things your dog does every single day that seem ordinary, but are anything but. There is a whole world happening inside your dog that most people never get to see, and we are going to show you all of it. So subscribe, and make sure you never miss what comes next. And before you go, tell us in the comments, has your dog ever focused on one part of your body in a way that felt unusual? Or do you know someone whose dog behaved strangely before a diagnosis? Share your story below. We read every single comment. Everyone. See you in the next one.